In Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, the Medusa is a lawful evil monstrosity challenge rating 6, with an AC of 15 and 127 HP. It has decent stats overall, but most interestingly, it has a +5 to Deception and Stealth, as well as a +4 to Insight and Perception. It is described as a creature suffering from a terrible curse that turns all who look at it into stone. The Medusa can make 3 attacks, 1 with her snake and 2 with her sword, or 2 attacks with a bow, giving her ranged or close combat options. Her main feature, however, is her trait, Petrifying Gaze. She can force any creature that can see her within 30 feet to make a DC 14 Constitution save at the start of their turn. If they fail, they are restrained, and at the end of their next turn, they must succeed on a save again or else be petrified. If they fail with a 9 or lower on that first save, they are instantly petrified. A creature can, unless surprised, avert its eyes to completely avoid this effect, but the second it is deemed to look at the Medusa, it must make the save instantly. The Medusa can also be affected by its own curse if it sees itself in a reflection. For me personally, I would place this monster in some sort of a lair where it feels comfortable. If my players tip it off to their presence, I would have it immediately hide and stalk the party, jumping out at a single player if they get separated from the rest. With the Medusa's high deception and stealth, as well as its decently high perception, it could easily sneak around the party and jump in when it perceives itself to have the upper hand. During combat, with the amount of saves a party would have to make, it's likely that someone will fail one of the saves at some point. I would have the Medusa attack spellcasters up close and melee players with her bow, all the while imposing disadvantage on them if they avert their eyes while attacking, or forcing them to risk her petrifying gaze. This way, spellcasters that are looking to use AoE abilities to get around the petrifying gaze will have a hard time when the Medusa is right in front of them. Also, once a creature is petrified or restrained, the Medusa should ignore it, viewing it as little more than an inconvenience to come back to later. The Grecian myth of Medusa is well known. She is one of the 3 Gorgon sisters, creatures that were cursed by Minerva or Athena with wings, scales for skin, and hair made of snakes. In most stories, she is slain by the hero Perseus, who uses a polished mirror to avoid her gaze and slay her with a sword. Other legends state that Medusa lived on an island north of Libya, which might explain the Libyan Gorgon, a creature with scales and petrifying breath. Medusa's petrifying gaze continued beyond her death as well, with Perseus using her disembodied head to petrify the court of King Polydeuces of Seriphus, the man who sent him away to kill Medusa so that he could marry Perseus's mother by force. Comparing the myth to the D&D creature, they are insanely similar. They look the same, have the same abilities, and the petrification gaze is deemed to be a curse in most myths and in D&D. The only difference between mythological Medusa and D&D Medusa that I could find was that in D&D, her petrifying gaze stops working after death, and she can be affected by it via a reflection, a weakness that the original myth does not have. If you enjoyed that video, consider giving it a like and giving me a follow. And for more of my videos, you can find me on Twitch @Moglaroo, YouTube @Moglaroo Streams, and TikTok @Moglaroo Streams as well.